All right, guys. So I had the hankering and the itching to create a new MagLev rotor. This is the copper infused PLA, and I have a bunch of it. And so I wanted to make a new MagLev rotor. Basically, and these are 50 millimeters by 12 and a half by 12 and a half. So basically, half an inch square by 50 millimeters. And what I'm going to do is, obviously, you can see now I've also built a solid one, but unfortunately, I made the internal hole for the rod too big, which I could do something with that. This is carbon fiber, by the way, and it's beautifully straight. So instead, I'm going to put these are really powerful. Think they're I don't think they're N52s, but they're really powerful. They're scary. I'm going to put them in there like that, right? So they'll be something, so the thing will be about 50 millimeters long. I'm going to put the rod in there, and I'm going to make the reason why I want to build a new MagLev rotor is I think the smaller one that I have of this size, the centering rod is too long. I want to make it shorter so it'll be more stable for high speed um, rotation, if you will. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this together like this, right? Normal. Put those guys in there. Then I'm printing out a copper infused PLA sleeve that's going to go over the outside of this. And then what I wanted to do, I wanted to fill the inside of this with resin. And so I'm thinking, how can I do that? So I worked it out with my son because he's got a good mind. Probably the easiest way would be to put this all together, but without the rod. Seal off one end, obviously, so the resin can't spill out. It'll have the sleeve on it. Pour the resin through this little hole until it's almost filled to the top. Let it set up a little bit, then take the rod and push the rod through to the desired depth, and then let it harden up. I think that's how I'm going to do it. At least that's the best way I thought to do it. Or otherwise, I'd have to probably cut a hole in here if I had put the rod in while I'm building the rotor complete. If I complete it with the rod assembly and then drill a hole and try and put the resin in, removing that little bit of PLA would kind of throw it off balance, I'm thinking. So I think the easiest way might be to, like I said, put this all together, put the sleeve on there, get it nice and secured, seal off the ends so nothing can leak out, put the resin in, and I think I'll just put it in all the way to the top because it doesn't matter if it oozes out at the top a little bit. Then slide and let it set up a little bit, I'm thinking. Then slide the rod in. And basically, I want this to be very tight. So, like maybe that big. Whereas my larger one is pretty far out there in distance. And the smaller one that I have is really nice, but I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make this is all going to be completely PLA, or it's going to be completely 3D printed. So there'll be no acrylic except for the base. The base will still be acrylic. Yeah, because I want, like I'm saying, I want to build a high speed one, and it will be more stable, and it'll be a captive MagLev, not one of those ones with the magnets around, in a U shape. This will be a captive one where I'll have solid disc here. I've got the ball bearings that I can put on the end there. Yeah. So I'm waiting for the, I'm waiting for the sleeve to print out. I really wish I hadn't screwed this up. I still may try to do something with this, but you can hear it, right? It's got way too much play. What I could do is I could, paint this over and over and over again until it built up enough, and that would probably work. But I think I'm going to go with this way. And the reason I'm using the copper PLA is because I've seen, especially on Sky's videos, he uses a copper sleeve on the outside. I'm not sure what that does. I'm not that familiar with why you would use a copper sleeve on the outside. It probably has a lot to do with copper being non-ferromagnetic, but copper does interact with magnets the way aluminum does. So it probably has something to do with that, unless he just used it purely as a sleeve, which is what I'm going to do. Anyway, just wanted to kind of keep you up to speed of what I'm doing. I still have a million other things, but I don't have any time. That's my biggest issue. I work like a dog, and on the weekends, I don't want to be in here all the time. I have a family, right? A son, a wife. And so I don't want to spend all day in here playing around. If I could, I would. If I wasn't working, oh, Lord have mercy if I wasn't working. And that day's coming soon. Anyway, stay tuned. Yeah, so basically it would look like this, right? Beautifully balanced. And it's going to have a sleeve over it. And I've got, that end is south, that end is north. I use my magnet paper to figure out I don't know if you could see it here. Let me slide this off of here. Yeah, you could see the lines in there, right? So it's this way. Yeah. So that's going to work out really nice. It fits in here really well too. I measured out the gap for the magnets, or the space of magnets, really well, but I didn't do on this first print, I didn't do the core, the rod very well, but this one will work just fine. And yeah, I'm going to put the sleeve over it, seal it off, pour the resin in there. But I'm not even really sure if I need to put resin in there. Part of me wants to, the other part of me is saying, no, don't do it. Yeah, these are really powerful magnets too. All right, stay tuned. Yeah, here's the sleeve that's printing out. I use this powder coated, I think it's PEI sheet. Works really, really well from Wham Bam. Yeah, and so I did a sample, a small sample piece to check the fit, and it 55.5 millimeters worked just fine. Stay tuned. So this was the one I was talking about, the one that I'm going to replace. This one is actually really good, but this is too far apart, but it's captive really well. And this is all 3D printed except for the base, obviously. But you can see that if I turn it like this and I let it go, it's not balanced properly. So I think this guy will take care of that. Whoa. Yeah, it's really powerful magnet. Whoa. Whoa. Got to be careful. Yeah, so 3D printed. I think I'm just going to use these guys because they seem to work really well. I don't think there's a reason to reprint the housings for the captive magnets. yeah, so I'm going to replace this. I'm going to make it shorter. So it'll be, I think it'll control the whole system better if it's shorter. I think this is too far. Because when you get farther out, it's much easier to, introduce a bend or some issues. So yeah, I'm gonna take this guy apart. I'm still gonna keep this guy, but I'm gonna do something else with him. I don't know why I put this on here. I don't know if it was just for looks or what. And I'm still debating on whether I should. I got to be really careful next to this guy because they're really powerful magnets. I could feel it from here pulling. I mean, look at. I'm still debating on whether I should capture this with resin or not. But whoa, see, look at that. Holy mackerel! I got to be careful. I'm gonna lose a finger. So yeah, so let me take this apart. The sleeve is almost done, so I have to figure out if I'm going to put resin in there or not. This tape is for reading the RPM with a tachometer. All right, stay tuned. All right, so now that I got the sleeve, I can show you a little bit better. So here's the sleeve is going to go on here like this. And again, this is all copper infused PLA. Ah, come on. Freaking magnets. Yeah, copper infused PLA. And then this guy will go here. So I'm thinking, you know what? Now that I feel this, I don't think I need to infuse it with resin. I would still like to, but I think that would make it kind of heavy because it already is a little bit hefty because of the copper PLA. Not too bad. It's definitely lighter than this. That's because I have the magnets in there. I got to think about this for a while. But yeah, here's the captive ring magnet that I'm going to use. And back here is a piece of glass. And then this was the BB I had on the end of the other rotor. And so I'll rig up something like that for this carbon fiber rod. But again, I want to make it, let me slide this guy through here. I want to make it like maybe this big. And I don't think the magnets here are going to adversely affect, although I do kind of, oh, come on, you dumbass fucking magnets. Excuse me. Let me see. I have to, yeah, I can feel that. I think that's why I put it out like around here. Let me turn it around and see how it reacts to the other side. Yeah, same thing. I can actually feel the magnet. Not too bad though. So I think, yeah, about that big. So this guy would be sitting right about here, which I think is going to give me more control. Now, in looking at this this carbon fiber rod, it is smaller than the one I used before. Let me get these out of the way so they don't attract each other. Oh, there you go. So that was the one I used for this one. It's a little bit bigger. But I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. So yeah, That guy's going to go right about there. And that should work out good. I'll have to drill a new hole for this guy over here, but that's not, again, not a big deal. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to put resin in there. You guys let me know what you think. Should I put resin in there? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me put this guy over here. So he's nice and safe. Let me put this guy right here. Gotta be careful with these freaking magnets, man. They'll get you every time. But yeah, so the rod's a little bit smaller. I don't think that's going to be a big deal. It is really nice and stiff and straight. I don't know if I had, whoops, sorry. I don't know if this one was captive. Yeah, it is. I probably glued it in there. That's right. I could take that apart. I don't know why I ordered the smaller rods. I think there was a reason. But yeah, we'll go from there and see. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'll get a bigger rod, reprint. So this is the solid one, which is nice. I may opt to go with that guy. I don't know. So they're smaller magnets. This guy was about, I think this guy was 3 inches or 4 inches. Oh, let me get a ruler and figure it out. Come on, man. I got 10,000 rulers around here. I can't find one. Yeah, so this guy was 3 inches. 3 inches by half inch by half inch. This guy, I think, is 2 inches. Yeah, 2 inches or 500 or 50 millimeters. Yeah, I do the 3D printing in metric because it's just easier, smarter too. Oops, I'll have to fix that. Anyway, that's all good. So yeah, stay tuned. Probably not going to get it done today, but I'll work on it again tomorrow. Ciao.